Hello all, welcome to the video on ergodic random process. In this video, I will be explaining the ergodic random process from a conceptual point of view. Here, consider the example that I am driving this particular car from my home to office and I am interested in the displacement felt by my car wheels. Actually, I am riding this car on a rough road and I am measuring the displacement felt by my car wheels on 3 days. Since the road on which I am traveling every day is rough, the displacement happened to be something like this. And here we observe that the response is different on every day. This can be modeled as a random process because there are a lot of parameters that are influencing this process. That's why it is random. And I am not sure about the shape it will assume on day 4, and even I am not sure for a given set of samples or an ensemble what will be the displacement my car wheel will feel at a different instant of time. All these are because of the n number of parameters like tire pressure or the temperature on that day, the ability or the skill level of the particular driver. All these things will influence the displacement that is felt by these wheels, and that's why they are called random processes. Now, the next important question is, what is an ergodic random process? Let's try to explain that with an example. Now, let me ask you a question. Here, in this particular graph, I have plotted the displacement that is measured on a given day with respect to time. So, I am measuring the displacement every second. The first second I measured a displacement of 2 mm. Similarly, for the next second I measured displacement of 4 mm, and like that this goes on. For the 5th second I have measured something like 2.5 mm. And now I am asking you, what will be the displacement felt by my car wheel on corresponding to 6th and 7th second? Hold your thought. So you need to give me the values. You know that there is some physics that governs this whole process, but because of the complexity and because of the number of variables that are involved in this particular problem, you really don't know what will be the displacement. But you can guess at least, and most probably you will tell me a value in the range of 1 to 10 mm, because all the earlier values are around that range. I never told you my car wheel displacement will assume a value of 1000 mm because this is unrealistic, or the series of data was something like 4, 2, 3, 1, etc. So you will never ever tell me a number in the order of 1000 or 100. Here you may not be knowing the physics of the rule which governs this process completely, but you know what is the range of the values that it can assume. So you are knowingly or unknowingly making a hypothesis that with a sufficiently long sequence you will be gaining more insight into the problem. Let's say you assumed a displacement of 3.5 mm corresponding to the 6th second and 2.5 mm corresponding to the 7th second. This particular process which you just now did is by predicting these values on the background of this particular set of values which I provided to you. You can call this as a single ensemble function. So, using that data, you predicted these two values. Now, we get into the formal definition of an ergodic process. In one single sentence, if I want to tell you what is an ergodic process, it is just simply a technique to simplify the problem, or to simplify a random process wherein a random process is said to be ergodic if its statistical properties can be deduced from a single sufficiently long random sample of the process, what you did just now. You looked at the first 4 or 5 values and then you predicted what will be the displacement of the wheel corresponding to the 6th and 7th second. So it is just a technique to simplify the problem involving random processes. See the power of this assumption. It is huge. because from a single random sample of the process, you will be able to deduce the statistical properties. You can compute the mean, you can compute the autocorrelation, and all these things can be done from a single sufficiently long random sample of the process. Now let's look at another definition of ergodic, which is given in the Webster's dictionary. Here it was given as a process in which every sequence or sizable sample is equally representative of the whole. So that's what you just now did in the example. I gave you a sizable sample. I gave you the displacements corresponding to the first 5 seconds and asked you to predict what will be the displacement corresponding to the 6th and the 7th second, and what hypothesis you brought in when you predicted those two values. You thought the single ensemble which I gave you is a representative of the whole process, and then you went ahead. Let's get into the mathematical aspects of the definition. Now we are heading towards a more formal definition of an ergodic random process. Consider the same example. These are the 3 different sample functions, and this can be seen as a collection of random variables indexed with respect to time. Let the time instants be t1, t2 and t3. So these are the different values that the random variable takes corresponding to this time. It assumes these 3 different values. So a random process is a collection of such sample functions. Now, in order to characterize this, there are a lot of statistical parameters which you already know. I will revise those things. A few statistical parameters are computed here over n different samples. First one among them is ensemble average. Ensemble averages are computed over different samples. So here xk corresponding to this particular index. So this is x1 of t, x2 of t and x3 of t, and the index k corresponding to that. And also second order autocorrelation function is defined, and going ahead this is how the third order autocorrelation function is defined. And if you keep multiplying the terms, then you will end up with a higher order autocorrelation averages. So these are defined at every time instant. That's why in the function argument you can see the time instant t1. These ensemble averages can also be computed for infinite number of samples by applying the limit for capital N as shown here. As you all know that if a random process to be said as wide sense stationary, then the mean calculated at different time instances must be constant, and the second order autocorrelation should be a function of the time shift tau, and similarly the third order autocorrelation function should be a function of just the time shift tau and lambda. Now let's define temporal averages and see the key difference between temporal averages and ensemble averages. For computing temporal averages, we just need one sample function as shown over here. If you have one sample function, then you can define the mean corresponding to that particular kth sample function like this. This is a formal definition how mean is computed. Similarly, corresponding to that particular sample function, you can define the temporal autocorrelation function like this, where limit t tends to infinity was given, assuming the function to be non-periodic and ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. The difference that we could see between ensemble average and temporal average is, in ensemble average we are averaging it across different ensembles, but when it comes to the temporal average, we are taking the mean for one single sample function. Now let's see something interesting happens now. I had sufficiently large number of sample functions, and so initially I computed the ensemble averages. Then all of them, including higher order autocorrelation, turned out to be independent of time instant at which I was evaluating them. That means the process is strongly stationary. Keeping in mind that the process is stationary, then I went ahead and took each of the sample functions and computed the temporal averages as shown here. Then I observed that all these averages are the same across different sample functions. This kind of random processes are called ergodic because with knowing just one sample function, I can calculate the temporal averages, and since the process is already stationary, these temporal averages, whatever I have calculated using one single sample function, will be equal to the ensemble averages also. That is, with one single sample function, I am able to calculate all the statistical properties. One thing to remember is that all ergodic processes are stationary, but all stationary processes are not ergodic. If you need ergodic process, initially it has to be stationary, then only it can be ergodic. So this simplification essentially helps us to study the whole random process with one single time history or with one single sample function. That's how this whole assumption of ergodic process helps us in dealing with a random process. With this, we have come to an end of the video on ergodic random process. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.